This is the Patriot on Television Nigerian. Our guest today is Professor Jerry Anthony Agada, former principal, Government College Makudi, my principal who admitted me into college, one of the few principals who attained the principal special grade, and welcomed the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, a President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at the time, to Government College when we were still students. I had the privilege of shaking hands with the President when Professor Jerry Agada was principal, because we lined up and we were shaking him on the line. A retired Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, and other ministries in Benue State, a former Minister of Education, Federal Republic of Nigeria, a former National President of National Association of Nigerian Authors, ANA, and currently the Chairman of Civil Service Commission, Benue State, Professor Jerry Anthony Agada. Please welcome to the Patriot.
Thank you very much, Sandy.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm very good too.
Good. Happy to see you.
Thank you very much. I want you to tell us exactly how you feel, in the lockdown and in experience of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful experience. The truth of the matter is that as old as I am, this is the first time of my experiencing this type of situation where everybody is locked down. I mean, everywhere is locked down. You're not allowed to go out, and so on and so forth. And life is never the same since the beginning of this incident. So we are experiencing it, and we are hoping things will change for the better as soon as possible, so that COVID-19 should be off completely, so that life will return to normal again.
That's all right. I remember that when we used to be students, and you used to come to the assembly, and you always address us as students. I remember the word you used, that good morning, students, and all that, and you always tell you drive your white Beetle.
That's right.
And you always come neat and pack in front of your office. As students, we loved you so.
That's right.
And when you say that at your age, I don't even see you as old as you think. I still see you as the principal that used to stand in front. Can you tell us the secret behind?
That's right.
Young looks, how beautiful you're still looking young.
That's right. I'm happy to have this question because it has taken my mind back to the very good old days. Like you said, when I was your principal, I would come to the assembly ground and address you people, morning students, and I know how enthusiastic most of you were. Anytime I came to the assembly and I started speaking, and you were all feeling very excited, and so on and so forth. And the truth of the matter is that even though I admitted you into Form 1 in government college, you know that I was already a teacher at Government College Kefi, from 1974 up to 1976 when Benue State was created. It was after the creation of states that we came down to Makurdi on deployment, and so I was deployed to Government College. Fortunately, I was there before your daddy brought you to me.
Who is my daddy?
Mr. Sunday, Mr. Sunday, who was my classmate. We were classmates at the National Technical Teachers College, Yaba. He was doing NCE Technical, and I was doing my own. We were classmates from there. And it was after our graduation, I was posted to Government College, Kifi, while he, Shandy, was posted to Government College Pankshin,
That's right.
and it was after the creation of states
States,
that we all came down here.
Yes, that's
And then
right.
he brought you to me
Yes.
to be admitted as my own student.
Was that small?
You were very tiny. I mean, nobody knew you could grow like this to become big and fat and all the rest. And of course, life that time was very interesting. For instance, I remember you said during your introduction that at least I welcomed, the then president, military president, General Ibrahim Babangida. Yes. But let me take your mind back that Babangida was the second head of state that I welcomed to Government College Makurdi. Do you know that that time, in 1984, particularly, General Buhari was the then head of state. And he visited Makurdi, Benue State that time. And you know that Government College Makurdi was the epicenter of everything that was happening in Benue State, because Benue State was created in 1976. And as we came down on deployment, there were no structures like maybe the Apeaku Stadium now or the IBB Square. In fact, everything was in Government College because it was the premier college of the state. So anytime anybody was visiting, like the head of state, the reception or whatever would be taking place on Government College ground. And I remember as head of state, when General Buhari visited Benue State, he was received at the reception ground in Government College Makurdi.
That our beautiful pavilion.
That's your beautiful pavilion. The truth of the matter is that pavilion was made into that, beauty as a result of our preparation for receiving General Buhari.
Wow.
Yes, it was shortly after that visit that the coup took place and he was overthrown. That was in 1985 or something like that. And Babangida became the military president. And of course, we were there when Babangida came on a visit to Benue State. And one of the places he visited was Government College because it had been given a facelift in terms of renovation by the then governor of Benue State, General Fidelis Maka, that time. So when Babangida came, he visited places that were, renovated, like even this Civil Service Commission that time in 1991 was also newly built. So he visited here, visited Government College, visited Apeaku Stadium, visited IBB Square, and so on and so forth. And during his visit, I had told you, the students, that we were going to welcome the president. And you were all excited because you've never seen a president. I told you, don't worry, he was going to come. Yes. So when the itinerary was prepared and he was to visit here, I made sure that he spoke with my students.
Yes.
But because I remember at the protocol office, I was told that no, he was not going to waste time. He was going to spend only 5 minutes when he came to Government College, because he had other places to visit, and each place he was spending 5 minutes. So he was only going to spend 5 minutes. I said, okay. But what I did, and the trick I played was, I arranged you students on the assembly ground.
And you nominated me, I was one of them.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
And that you people should wait there.
Yes.
While I took the president around the places that he was going to commission. In fact, we went straight to the dining hall, the newly renovated dining hall, when after he commissioned it and he was to go back. So I said, excuse me, sir, that is it possible to speak with my students because they are already waiting for you? He said, where are they? I said, they are on the assembly ground. He said, how many are they in number? I said, there are about 2,000. He said, why so many? And am I sure they are up to 2,000? I said, yes, sir. And it's because Government College was being run as an exchange program student college, where we had students from the other 19 northern states.
Yes.
So then, I said, yes, sir. And he said, am I sure? I said, that every state in the north had students there. I said, yes, sir. And even that the current the current head boy of the college.
It's an exchange student.
Is an exchange student from Niger State.
Niger State.
And you know Babangida.
I know Babangida.
He said, am I sure? I said, yes. I said, okay, let me take him to the ground there.
That's right.
By that time, all these his other aides, they were feeling uncomfortable because he was already spending more than the 5 minutes which they had. But he said I should take him to the assembly ground. So when we came to the assembly ground, and he saw the number of students and the way they were neatly dressed and waiting for him, he said that he was going to talk to them. And he came and he talked to you people. He remembered even in his own days, when he was in government college, government college, Vida or whatever, and that he was as young as you people.
Yes,
in fact, he talked generally with you people. And before then, we had already crafted one very nice poem, which I wrote for my students, you know, and the head boy came to read it out for you. And when he read the poem, and then another student, Tefa Apam, presented his portrait, which had been drawn by the Fine Arts Department under Mr. Visagaruma. So they presented the picture. He said, the students did this. I said, yes, done by this one. He was so, in fact, Babangida spent almost 15 to 20 minutes on the ground talking with you people, interacting with you, like you say. He was shaking hands with all of us.
And he gave us 10 cows.
He did.
He declared 10 cows.
12 cows.
And we refused, and you stopped them from cooking good.
I'm telling you the story now. After he spoke with you people and everything, then he said he was donating 12 cows, one for each month, for the 12 months of the year. And that the principal of the college must be promoted to the next salary grade level. By then I was already on level 15, and the next level would have been level 16. And at the time, there was no cadre for principal special grade in Benue State. So now that the president had directed that I should be promoted to the next level, what did they do? They had no choice than to bring that cadre to Benue State. So incidentally, I was the first principal special grade in Benue State. And Babangida, you know, he interacted with you people, everybody was happy, and he left. And that was a watershed in my experience as a teacher. Because it was during that visit that I was made principal special grade, and that my promotion ushered in what we call the cadre of principal special grade in Benue State. That was how it happened that time. And of course, you mentioned my B2. Yes, I remember I bought my B2 in 1977. I told you I came down to Benue State in 1976. We were giving car loan to buy cars. I bought the B2, 3,400 naira that time, brand new B2. And even when I was leaving for further studies in 1979 in Britain, I packed it. When I came back, by 1984, 85, I still took my B2, and I was using it. Even as your principal, I had the B2. Even when I was made principal special grade on level 16, I was still with my B2. And in fact, I continued with that B2 until I was posted to Government College, Utonkon, as their principal at that time. 1993, I was still using the B2. Until 1976, when I was appointed, 1996, when I was appointed Executive Secretary, Benue State Examinations Board, that I came down to the board here, and I was given a 504. You know, even then I had my B2, and people were saying, this man. But I so like the B2 that you know, and you know that. There was no pride of any type on my side other than to be doing my job. You remember, I was always with you students in the hostel. Either I'm with you in the hostel, in the dining hall, on the assembly ground. I was not giving you any breathing space for anything. You know, so that's why I said the way you asked the question brought all those memories back to my mind. But that's how it happened.
you used to have a bald hair.
Oh yeah, I
And
did.
then he had hair at the back. Can you remove your cap so we can see how the
Look
bald
at it, the bald hair
The
still
bald is still there.
is still there. You know, it's my mark, and you people used to call me Papi Joe.
Papi Joe. No, but it's really wonderful having to catch up with the old times.
That's right.
It's beautiful at the same time that I'm meeting with my principal.
That's right.
Who is my father's classmate at the same time.
Yeah.
We're going to make it exclusive on this.
Okay.
Because you're still alive. God has created, you for a purpose.
That's right.
Your life is going to flourish.
Yeah.
And you're going to impact into more lives.
That's right.
It's a privilege that your son is coming to meet with you today, and to interface with you.
That's right.
Tell us something about your experience having moved around after being a principal and moving to different positions
That's right.
in Nigeria.
Yes. The experience is very interesting. The truth of the matter is, as we are talking now, if I go anywhere today, whether I'm traveling at the airport, anywhere, majority of the people I see are my former students. Either they were my students from Government College Kefi or Government College Makodi.
And you don't forget them.
I don't forget. I remember you people by your names.
Yes.
At least that's one gift that I have.
Yes.
Once you are my students, I know you by your name. And wherever I meet them today, let me tell you that I contested governorship of Benue State in the year 2007. And do you know that one of our contestants was Gabriel Suswa? And mind you that Gabriel Suswa was my student in Government College Makodi.
Wow.
You understand? So you can see that even though he was my student in Government College, after he finished and went to his various schools up to becoming a member of the Federal House of Rep and so on, before he came to contest the governorship, that time I had also risen through the ranks up to becoming a permanent secretary in most of the ministries in Benue State and so on, before I retired to contest that governorship. So I contested with him, and even though he defeated us, at least he recognized me and took me as his former principal. And that respect used to be there.
Yeah.
And even before Suswan, Joshua Darie was a former governor too.
Yes.
Joshua Darie, governor of Plateau State. Joshua was my student in Government College in Makodi here, 1977, 78, and all that. He was my student, and he became the governor too. So you can see that my former students were becoming governors and so on and so forth. Then aside from that, if you go to the House of Rep, to the Senate, to anywhere, you discover that majority of the people there were my former students. Even if you come to the State Executive Council, you discover that they are my former students. Majority of them, my former students. I'm like their father. You understand? And that respect is there. So also it is that, like I said, if you go to any of the airports and I'm traveling somewhere, you see either this immigration officer standing there, this one, they will see me and see that their principal has gone, and they will do whatever.
Very respected
Yes.
decision taken that you decided to become a teacher as a matter of profession.
That's right.
And the joy of being a teacher, I hope you have never regretted
I
it.
will never regret it. And I tell people, some people, when you say, what do you want to be a teacher? They will say, no, I don't want to be a teacher. They want to be customs officer, they want to be medical doctors, they want to be lawyers, this and that. If you mention teaching, they will say, no, it's not. But I tell people, if I were to relive my life again, I still want to be a teacher because I have enjoyed my life as a teacher. There is nothing I want to say that I want to enjoy in life that I have not. I mean, I rose to become a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And not just minister here and there, but minister of education. I mean, having served as a minister, what again have I not done? If you go to the Federal Executive Council, the president of the Federal Republic is the chairman of the Federal Executive Council. So you see that even if I were a senator, senators don't go to the Federal
No,
Executive
they
Council.
don't.
If I were an ambassador, ambassadors don't go to the Federal Executive
No.
Council, even though they represent the head of state in wherever, the president, wherever they are serving. And even if I was in the House of Rep or wherever, So to me, having served as a member of the Federal Executive, where decisions affecting the entire nation were being taken, I think I have gone to the height that I can go, because you don't expect 2-3 people to be presidents at the same time, so as to say that because I was minister during Yaradua's time. Yaradua was the chairman of the Federal Executive Council. So as a member, that's all. I couldn't have been so that's the highest, and I have done that, rising from becoming a classroom teacher. I started as classroom teacher in Government College Kefi, up to coming down to Government College Makodi on deployment, up to rising through the ranks. I started as a level 7 officer. I rose to level 16, which is principal special grade, up to becoming executive secretary.
And you served 35 years or less?
In the service.
In the service?
Yes, I did. I served, at least I served 32, 33 before I retired to become governorship aspirant. That was when I retired.
It's amazing how you have rose from grass to grace.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes I wonder whether it was only you God blessed. Yes.
No, I appreciate that too. Until tomorrow, I will ever remain grateful to God, because after all, what again will I do? I served as a classroom teacher. I became principal special grade. I served as a member of the Association of Nigerian Authors. I rose to become national president. I served as a civil servant in Benue State. I rose to become permanent secretary. I served as a politician. I rose to become a minister of the. There is nothing that I have served that I have not reached the top of it.
I think you need to pray for some of us so that we can also rise in this.
No, that's my prayer, because once you are my student, my prayer for you is that you should even rise to become more than I have become.
But I have not been a minister before.
I know, but you will be sometime ago, because you are young, you are still coming. The future is still there for you.
Yeah.
And that's my prayer for my students.
Amen. I say amen.
Amen.
Now, what about the palliatives? Most of these students, have they sent palliatives to you in the COVID?
Well, yeah, the state is doing what it can do. Despite the difficulties that we are experiencing here, the government has not failed in terms of payment of salaries, for instance. I think that's the best they can do. And then in terms of sending palliatives to the less privileged ones, the poor and so on, they reach them in one way or the other. So to me, I can say that the government is trying, and the palliatives are reaching our people in terms of getting things to the less privileged ones. They are getting them. So I'm getting my salary as a civil servant, for instance. I mean, what else do you think government can do? Ordinarily, government would have said, because of the difficulties that they are experiencing in terms of money in this, and they will not pay, but they are paying. Despite, and that's why wherever I speak, I have to commend my governor, because people don't know, what the man is going through, but making sure that Benue State stands the way it is today. And you will discover that, when he started as governor, the very first act or action performed by him as the governor of the state was this amnesty, which he granted to make people who were carrying arms and ammunition up and down. He did that. And you will discover that Governor Tom was the first to do that in the country. And later, other governors were emulating him to give amnesty to their people in their various states, up to our facing the problem of Fulani herdsmen, where he enacted, the anti-open grazing law, which has actually helped to stem the problem. If not by now, I can tell you that this state would have been overrun by, the rampaging headsmen. And so, plus all other things. That's why people call him defender of Benue Valley.
But not everybody will agree with that assertion.
That
he is just playing politics around that. How can you defend otherwise?
Were you not aware when the Fulani headsmen were harassing us here, killing people every now and then, every day, 20 people, 17 people, 20 people? Are you not aware that?
Yes, don't you think that COVID-19 would have overrun, the state of affairs, and which is why the Fulanis themselves have also run?
No, the Fulanis have not run because till today they are still harassing our people. They are still killing people up and down. So they are there. In fact, COVID-19 is another problem that we are coping up with alongside the problem of the herdsmen, because they are still there harassing our people. And if not because of that action and stamping his leg on the ground that no, this cannot happen, you will discover that it would have been a different case. So if anybody tells you that maybe the governor is playing politics with that one, what will they say? They will have to say that one. But the governor is not playing politics. He's actually doing what he's supposed to do to make sure that the Benue Valley is defended.
So talk about the period we're in, which is COVID-19 lockdown and COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
Do you think the state government is top of the game in dealing with managing the situation?
I can tell you so because, immediately the problem started, so many actions were taken, including the setting up of the committee, to take charge of affairs of COVID-19. And I tell you, the committee has done a lot of work.
Headed by who?
The committee is headed by the deputy governor, who is the chairman of the committee. The state commissioner for health is the deputy chairman of that committee. And they have gone around sending all these, sensitization programs. All the states, the local governments have what they call a COVID-19 committee. And actions are taking sensitization here and there in our markets, asking people to wash hands and so on and so forth.
Are they maintaining social distance? Because what I've seen around, I don't see any distance, even on the ATM machines, on the queue. The markets, some of the places, even places where they have said they shouldn't be people hanging around together, they have decided to stay. Are they maintaining social?
Sometimes they think that by government telling them to maintain social distancing or not doing this, not crowding in a place, not doing burial, not doing wedding, they think government is denying them certain rights that they are supposed to have.
Is Susan Okwe, which is the index case reported from Benue, what is the true status of Susan Okwe Lawani?
The point is that this question is better directed to the committee on this coronavirus committee that I told you that the deputy governor is the chairman and the deputy chairman is they are the people who are in a position to know details about this matter. You understand? Because I, as a person, I don't even know the person they are talking about, not to talk of how it happened.
Yeah, because they say COVID-19, 14 days incubation period, you're put in a place for 14 days.
Yes.
Until when the 14 days lapses, that they know exactly whether you're positive or not.
Yes.
And this lady has stayed there for more than over how many days? More than 15 days, 20 days, 25 days. And she is also an indigent of Benue State.
That's right.
And then it is not right that she's been held back. When she was taken away from Benue, rather than take her to Gwagwalada Hospital, she was taken to National Hospital, Abuja. That is not what we know that is the place for where she should have gone. She is not released back to her family, and she can go back to the United Kingdom, as the case may be.
That's right.
And you're saying that you are not exactly. She's also from Benue.
Yes.
And our sister
And that's why the question is very important. Yeah. But on the other hand, it's better to hear from the horse's mouth so that you do not go back with doubts in your mind. And the horse's mouth is actually the committee that I told you is physically in charge of this. They are the people who handle the matter, who knows what is happening, what is not happening, and so on and so forth there. So I wish you can direct the question to the deputy governor and his group. They will be in a position to tell you the true position.
Okay, thank you very much. Professor Jerry Anthony Agada.
Thank you, Sandy.
You are my principal, and we loved you so much, and we always love talking with you.
And I'm proud that any time I see any of my former students, I feel as if my head is touching this ceiling. No matter how tall you are, I feel that you are my own, my son.
That's it.
You know, and you must come down to recognize me as your father.
Yeah. Jerry Anthony Agada, it's nice talking with you.
Thank you very much.
I want to remind you and inform you, Set 95 of Government College, Makurdi, MOVA, Makurdi Old Boys Association, is going to be celebrating 25 years after school.
That's right.
And that's going to be happening this December.
That's right.
And so I want to informally inform you.
That's right.
But when very soon the time is closed, we will formally invite you.
I will be there.
Thank you very much. This is the Patriot and Television Nigerian, and we have been talking with a patriot, Professor Anthony Jerry Agada. It is said that what a child sits on the tree and sees, when a man sits down on the chair, he sees even more. He has held several positions in Nigeria. We will have another experience with him discussing very important issues again at another time. Until then, I want you to be patriotic. It's Peggy Shandy, TVN.